Cain Marko, also known as the Unstoppable Juggernaut, has been one of the central figures in the Marvel Universe since his debut in the 1960s. He is a behemoth giant clad in red armor capable of obliterating anything in his path. As one of the more intriguing and multifaceted antagonists in the X-Men universe, Juggernaut possesses compelling anatomy and is undoubtedly an impressive sight. If you are new to the Marvel Universe, you will be astonished to learn how remarkable Juggernaut's strengths and abilities are. So, without further ado, let us delve into every aspect of one of the strongest villains in the Marvel Universe. Before we continue with our explanation, we have a small request. If you enjoy our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. It is just one click for you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you very much. Let us begin. Thank you. Is Juggernaut truly a mutant? To answer this question, we must delve deeper into the origins of this giant character. Many believe that Juggernaut is a character born as a mutant, while his powers developed over time like other mutants in the Marvel Universe. However, unlike his half-brother, Professor X, Cain Marko is an ordinary human who served in the Korean War. At that time, Cain was being bombarded by enemy mortars and decided to seek refuge in a nearby cave, while Xavier followed him to ensure that their team did not consider him a traitor. The two discovered an ancient temple hidden in the forest. After exploring this place together with Xavier, Cain found the Crimson Gem of Sidorak. This gem is an ancient artifact and is regarded as a god by primitive humans in the area. Xavier was astute enough to recognize their presence, and he even warned Cain not to touch the gem at all, considering this warning to be in vain. Cain disregarded the direct request and seized the gem while the people inside began to tremble and collapse. With both of them inside, Xavier was able to survive, but Cain was not so fortunate, or so Xavier thought, because by touching the gem, Cain was granted powers bestowed upon him by Siddhartha, transforming him into a Juggernaut. With this backstory, it is clear that Cain is not a bearer of a mutant gene. He is a normal human who acquired his powers through the blessing or curse of Mr. Forget, Siddhartha. In short, Juggernaut is not a mutant because his powers are mystical and he has never possessed a mutant gene in his body. It is also worth noting that if Siddhartha wished, he could strip Cain of all his powers. This power returns him to a normal human state, yet it is also a fact that no technology has been created to alter or mitigate the mutant powers that operate on Juggernaut. The origin or source of Juggernaut's strength has a far more intriguing explanation than merely possessing a mutant gene, which also accounts for his immense power. In this regard, let us discuss a bit further about the gem. What is the source of its inexhaustible energy? Sidorak, also known as the Raging Storm Lord or simply the Destroyer, is an extra-dimensional entity with immeasurable and infinite power. He hails from the Crimson Cosmos and is revered as a demon god by primitive humans who both respect and fear his wrath. We observe Cain Marko empowered by the gem within a lost temple. Because the Sidorak myth disappeared after it was banished back to its home dimension, the Sidorak gem is an extraordinary artifact, and its power appears to be limitless. The energy that this gem can supply to the Sidorak exemplar is exceptionally strong in terms of attack, defense, endurance, and, most importantly, sustainability. The gem does not require sleep or any need for food, drink, or even breathing, regardless of how weak its host may be. We witnessed this in the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 230, where Spider-Man was able to trick Juggernaut into a pool of cement. This led to a gradual descent of the villain into the cement while he attempted to escape but failed to do so. Juggernaut simply accepted the situation and patiently awaited the moment to emerge again and cause havoc. Juggernaut can endure for months without the ordinary human needs like the gem, granting him enough strength to sustain himself and continue providing endlessly. In conjunction with his various descriptive titles, Juggernaut is truly unstoppable thanks to the gem. Juggernaut can create an infinite source of kinetic energy once he gains enough momentum, making him truly unstoppable once he begins moving, and only figures like the Hulk have ever come close to slowing him down. Even then, they are far from being able to stop him. On one occasion, Juggernaut continuously ran through an entire mountain because he was able to create enough kinetic energy through his movements. Complementing his unstoppable nature, Juggernaut also possesses unlimited stamina as he is not bound by the limitations of humans who require continuity through external means to replenish their energy. Juggernaut essentially has no limit to his stamina, the energy flowing through his body thanks to the gem. It allows him to keep moving forever and generate more energy at will, with stamina that even surpasses that of the Incredible Hulk, who can fight for days non-stop. The Juggernaut's connection with the gemstone enables him to harness this energy and become almost unstoppable, capable of breaking through nearly any obstacle or enemy in his path. How does his body protection help Juggernaut? Because of the mystical nature of Juggernaut's powers, he is not just a physical example of a defensive monster. Juggernaut also possesses two types of armor. The first is an impenetrable force field thanks to the power of Soteric, and the second is the indestructible armor that he wears on his body. The armor that Marco wears can be summoned at any time and is referred to as Crimson Cosmos armor. In addition to being excessive protection, the armor serves two purposes. 1. To give Juggernaut an extra step against characters who is capable of penetrating the field of power that surrounds him if there is something that can harm him. The unbreakable armor can support him as long as he wants to continue, and the two most important parts, the Crimson Cosmos armor, also has a protective helmet with a skull ship underneath it. Together, this equipment protects the Juggernaut from the only weakness he possesses, which is psychic power. No matter how physically insane the Juggernaut is, a strong psychic like Jean Grey or Professor X can defeat him by penetrating the limits of his mind. For that reason and for extra protection, the Crimson Cosmos armor is very helpful for the unstoppable. How strong is the Juggernaut physically? Even if we only focus on the physical aspect of Juggernaut's strength, the absurdity of how strong he actually is may surprise fans who have not explored the comics with the blessing of the print. Juggernaut is one of the strongest physical beings in the entire Marvel Universe, even comparable to the strongest version of the Hulk in a direct fight with this monster, and even if they could, they certainly wouldn't be able to surpass him in terms of durability. His giant fist can cause earthquakes of incredible magnitude and even cause cracks, while his body can easily break through any obstacle once it gains momentum due to its ridiculous strength and durability. Juggernaut can take numerous blows from the likes of Thor with his Mjolnir and even cosmic entities, as we witnessed in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 629. Juggernaut can even withstand the immense gravitational force of the Earth's core while also making his way through rock. This feat requires an unimaginable amount of strength and durability, as not many can take such an immense amount of punishment while using their strength to break through incredibly hard stone. Juggernaut has repeatedly proven that in terms of raw physicality, he can go to extremes when facing figures like Thor and Hulk, while also defeating figures like Thing and Colossus. His lightning ability is a testament to his power, and on several occasions, the force he creates with Thunderclap is felt by many, adversely affecting those he targets. Juggernaut's physical invulnerability is one of the most enjoyable aspects of his character. Cain Marko, who has a military background and is endowed with limitless strength, is an impressive sight as he enjoys engaging in close combat and ultimately defeats his opponents without breaking a sweat. Does Juggernaut have healing powers? Even after being notoriously invincible, Juggernaut can sometimes take a little or more damage, but let's not digress. Usually, it's direct physical moves or weaponry. Unable to penetrate Juggernaut's defenses, however, physical, mystical or cosmic weapons can be effective, especially when used by beings with extraordinary powers in this situation. Whether Juggernaut is in danger or not, the ruby gemstone functions optimally and immediately begins to heal and remove all damage he has received. Although his healing ability is not on par with Deadpool or Wolverine, it is still an extraordinary and seemingly limitless ability. We see an example of this absurd healing power when the demon Despair turns Juggernaut into nothing more than a skeleton. From that state, the gem can fully regenerate Juggernaut's body back to its original form in seconds. While Juggernaut's healing ability may not be as strong as Deadpool's, it certainly is faster and more efficient. Juggernaut can remain in the midst of battle even after sustaining injuries. Extraordinary at the hands of his opponents, the healing factor and survival abilities will allow him to remain completely unaffected by non-lethal forces. Can Juggernaut reproduce? Have you ever heard of the X-People or the Next Ones, or even J2 and Zane-Yama? If not, Zane-Yama is the son of Cain Marko and Satyama in Earth 982, which is the MK2 or Marvel Comics 2 continuity. In this timeline, Cain Marko has redefined himself as a hero and teamed up with the X-Men. He started a family with his partner, Saki, and even had a handsome son. His happy life is disrupted by Nemesis, who keeps Marko confined in a parallel reality, while the disappearance of Zane's father is linked to his loss during a mission with the X-Men, considering the fact that Cain surely has a son who inherits his abilities and idolizes the superhero. Juggernaut occurs in an alternate reality different from Prime Earth. We will explain Juggernaut's ability to reproduce using logic from Earth 616. Before becoming Juggernaut, Cain Marko was an ordinary human with no trace of mutant genes. After coming into contact with the Sidoric gem, Cain became the Sidoric representative and its destructive avatar, living in flesh on Earth. Despite all of that, Juggernaut remains a superhuman who can engage in ordinary human activities, which means that Juggernaut can certainly reproduce if he wishes to, and there are no biological or mystical reasons that could prevent him from doing so. Can Juggernaut change the size of his body? Under normal conditions, there is no occurrence where Juggernaut grows larger, especially on purpose. Although depictions show him having various sizes, that doesn't mean he can change his massive stature. Naturally, but as always, there are exceptions when the Juggernaut can harness the power of the set gems, unleashing himself completely unhindered. His pre-existing absurd powers are amplified to new heights that surpass any previous level of absurdity. In his Juggernaut form, this red behemoth can alter his size to become even more terrifying, as he can grow taller if the situation requires it. Characters who surpass this Omega level can grow larger than Sentinels, able to enlarge their entire body in proportion to the power they unleash. Furthermore, the Juggernaut gains more than just the ability to change his size. He can also track his enemies with pinpoint accuracy, manipulate matter, gain the ability to levitate, absorb all kinds of damage such as projectiles, and even retaliate, projecting energy at will and creating and destroying portals through space and time. If you can imagine being human-sized, but an unstoppable killing machine only needs to multiply that threat by 20 and you'll understand how overwhelming the Juggernaut's trials are. At least, the upside is that infinity multiplied by 20 is still infinite, right? Can the Juggernaut be defeated? Is he immortal? Unfortunately, the famed and unstoppable Juggernaut isn't completely unstoppable. Even the limitless power he received from Cytoric can be overridden by others with superior limitless abilities or characters who possess the Juggernaut's only weakness, psionic powers. It could be argued that at this point, the Juggernaut's only weakness is his lack of plot armor. But in reality, the reason he wears a large helmet on his head despite having a mystical shield protecting him from impending damage is because he needs to protect himself from the powerful psychics that abound in the Marvel Universe. Psychic strength is a curse for the existence of the Juggernaut, as they can easily penetrate all of his defenses and physical powers to directly attack his mental weaknesses. The heroes have united on several occasions to focus on removing Juggernaut's helmet, allowing Professor X to assault him with psychic abilities. Although this is easier said than done, this method has repeatedly succeeded in the past and is a tested way to defeat the Juggernaut. Over time, the Behemoth has adapted to such attacks and has sought to better prepare himself to avoid falling victim to such powers. However, with the presence of exceptionally strong psychics like Professor X and Jean Grey, the Juggernaut struggles particularly to adapt. Despite this individual weakness, the Juggernaut is nearly immortal. When discussing endurance and survival, the Cytoric gem allows for independence from external needs in terms of self-replenishment. This is due to the gem enabling complete self-sufficiency with an unlimited energy supply. Consequently, the Juggernaut never ages, and his body seemingly remains impervious to the constraints of time. He can even survive in the vacuum of outer space and is resistant to most toxins, diseases, and radioactive elements in the universe. Cytoric has created a truly powerful avatar of destruction that surpasses imagination, and due to its almost immortal nature, it has become a permanent figure in the ranks of Marvel villains. The torment he endures appears endless. In conclusion, it can be stated that the power of the Juggernaut as depicted in the Marvel Universe is truly extraordinary and nearly incomprehensible. Negative on the scale of plausibility refers to the strength, durability, and superhuman momentum that renders it almost impervious to physical attacks, and its ability to heal from injuries rapidly seems almost absurd. In fact, its mystical energy grants it a variety of other abilities that are typically unrelated to the fruit, such as energy projection, super speed, and the capacity to survive in outer space. The absurdities that arise in conversations when the topic relates to Juggernaut's powers are quite captivating. This antagonistic character is among the strongest physical specimens in the Marvel Universe, although its powers are often implausible in many respects. It serves as a great plot device, and the writers deserve commendation for consistently ensuring that this character remains engaging. The personality and character development of Juggernaut is a stunning sight, and he is one of the more interesting forces of evil out there. Some fans may see Juggernaut's abilities as excessive and unrealistic, but those abilities remain a defining part of this character and have contributed to his enduring popularity in the Marvel Universe. Honestly, that's what makes him so captivating. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to show your support by liking and subscribing if you haven't done so. However, we hope you are doing well. Have a nice day, and we will see you again soon. Thank you all.